we have a last minute, cancellation of lecture from Professor Rohit, and Professor Ajit Kumar Sharma will be replacing that lecture. May I request all the speakers to please join us on the session, on the dais. Professor Rohit Saluja, Professor Shiv Prasad, and Professor Amit Kumar. जैसा कि हम सभी को विदित है, इससे पहले वाले सत्र में प्रोफेसर धनंजय सिंह सर ने बात की थी सोशल साइंस रिसर्च और उसकी इम्पोर्टेंस की, कैसे हम विकसित भारत की ओर जा सकते हैं। उसी सत्र को आगे बढ़ाते हुए हम इस थीमेटिक सेशन में बात करेंगे अबाउट इंडियन इंटेलेक्चुअल ट्रेडिशंस एंड सोशल साइंस रिसर्च। आवर चेयरपर्सन प्रोफेसर सुरेखा दंगवाल मैम is a Vice Chancellor of Doon University, Dehradun, Uttarakhand. Earlier, she has served as head of the Department of English, Modern European and Other Foreign Languages, HNB Garhwal University, Srinagar, Garhwal, Uttarakhand. She has 34 years of teaching and research experience till date. She has been a recipient of prestigious Dad Fellowship in Germany. She has also been a visiting faculty at Tarleton State University, Stephenville, Texas, USA. Her research interests focus on South Asian women studies, diaspora, literature, and literary theory. She is a lifetime member of some of the prestigious academic bodies like South Asian Literary Association, Pittsburgh, USA. Besides, she has a vast administrative experience. She has also served as chairperson of Uttar Pradesh Hill Electronic Corporation, Hiltron, Government of Uttar Pradesh. हमारे सत्र के पहले वक्ता प्रोफेसर रोहित सलूजा हैं। आप भारतीय प्रौद्योगिकी संस्थान आईआईटी बॉम्बे से सुदृढ़ बहुभाषी भारतीय ओसीआर प्रणाली में अपनी पीएचडी पूर्ण की है और वे विट्स पिलानी गोवा परिसर के पूर्व छात्र रहे हैं। उनके उत्कृष्ट शोध प्रबंधन के लिए पीएचडी एक्सीलेंस अवार्ड से सम्मानित हैं। प्रोफेसर सलूजा वर्तमान में भारत जैन संघ के सक्रिय सदस्य के रूप में एआई मॉडल्स के निर्माण में महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभा रहे हैं। भारत जैन 22 भारतीय भाषाओं और बोलियों के लिए समर्पित देश की प्रथम सरकारी एआई पहल है। प्रोफेसर रोहित द्वारा विकसित ओसीआर प्रतिलेखन उपकरण के माध्यम से अब तक लाखों लेख और प्राचीन पांडुलिपियों का लिप्यंतरण किया जा चुका है। वर्तमान में आईआईटी मंडी में कार्यरत प्रोफेसर सलूजा को वर्ष 2025 के उत्कृष्ट शिक्षण पुरस्कार से विभूषित किया गया है और उनके अनुसंधान का मुख्य केंद्र भारतीय परिप्रेक्ष्य में एनएलपी, लार्ज लैंग्वेज मॉडल्स तथा रक्षा क्षेत्र हेतु कंप्यूटर विजन अनुप्रयोग हैं। आवर नेक्स्ट स्पीकर प्रोफेसर शिव प्रसाद कोंदुलकर sir is a professor in Department of Ship Technology, Cochin University of Science and Technology, Cochin, Kerala. A pioneering PhD in ship recycling in the world, sir is serving as a member of Board of Directors, Bharat Heavy Electronics Limited, member of Indian Technical Committee, Class NK, Japanese Ship Board, Central University, Indian Maritime University, Chennai. He is a member of DRDO Expert Committee. He is also a member of National Monitoring Committee on Monitoring Education, Ministry of Education, Government of India. Next speaker, Shri Ajit Kumar Sharma is founder of SciFront Collective, a strategy and innovation platform focused on strengthening research ecosystems, data-driven decision-making, and science policy industry collaboration. He also serves as professor of practice at Doon University, Dehradun, where he mentors academic leaders and supports lab-to-market transformation initiatives. He brings over 28 years of leadership experience across major international research and publishing organizations, including senior roles at the Royal Society of Chemistry, Elsevier, working with universities, governments, and funding agencies across Europe and the SAARC region. His work focuses on research strategy, open science, data-driven decision-making, and translating research into societal and economic impact. On behalf of Bharatiya Uच्च Shiksha Sansthan and Rajasthan University, again welcome all the dignitaries. May I request Professor Anand Podar, Chairman of Podar Group of Institute, and Ms. Rupal Podar, Vice Chairperson of Podar Group of Institute, to felicitate our dignitaries on the dais. Rupal ma'am, please. Next is Professor Rohit. Can we join our hands and thank the speakers and the session chairs who have spared their valuable time for us in joining this conference. Next is Professor Shiv Prasad. पीछे से भी जा सकते हैं. Thank you, Podar Group of Institutes, for being partner institute in this esteemed conference, NSIL 2026. May I have the privilege to hand over the mic to our session chair, Professor Surekha ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Dr. Anjali Avasthi. As she has already introduced the three speakers, and this is the session where we can highlight or explore the Indian or re-explore the Indian intellectual tradition, especially in social science research. But we have Professor Shiv Prasad and Dr. Ajit Kumar Sharma. Professor Shiv Prasad will be delivering lecture on naval architect. So what is my view before I ask my first speaker, Professor Rohit Saluja, for his lecture? I would like to clear that social science research in Indian intellectual tradition is not limited to social science, not limited to science, and not limited to architect. In any epistemological system, we need to change, and it is a need of an hour to pave the way to achieve the status of world leader by 2047. As always, this has been the dream of every Indian, and especially a dream put before the country, before its citizen, by our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji. And I always feel that still the framework of research and curriculum is Western in most of the universities. And I'm really thankful to NSIL, its organizers, and their dream to change this ecosystem. As we attended the lecture on Bharatiya Gyan Parampara, it was awesome. It was so wonderful that the mindset, the understanding of the research tools, still it's all Western. We always put ourselves in a conflicting zone of Marxism, where things are coming out only after a struggle. But the Bharatiya Darshan is having a collective consciousness, Samuhik Chintan, and with the help of that Samuhik Chintan, the solution of all the complex problems of this third decade of 21st century will come out. And I always feel that Bharat is a land of solution. Bharat is a land to give. It is a non-dogmatic civilization, as it was explored in the morning. It is a fluid identity. We have always a fluid identity. Our identities are not even stagnant. So every time new thing is added and we become almost a new person. It is a process of self-realization and actualization. So what can be the framework of, he's an important part of the Bharat Gen. AI, not for Bharat, AI by Bharat. So that is a different initiative and a very new initiative taken up by our Honorable Prime Minister. And I'm very happy that Professor Rohit Saluja is the part of this team. That AI by Bharat, AI for Bharatiya, and we need not to become consumers. We need to become producers. And I invite Professor Rohit Saluja, who will tell that what is the difference being a consumer and being a producer, as AI is already knocked the door and entered in our classrooms, in our families, in our bedrooms, in our drawing rooms, everywhere AI is there. So it is very, very important, very challenging, and I hope that Professor Rohit Saluja, who is working, he'll be telling us about Gyankul, and he'll be talking about Bharat Jan and AI by Bharat. To you, Professor Rohit Saluja, Professor of Chemistry, IIT Mumbai. Your time is 20 minutes.
Am I audible? Namaste everyone. So I'm here on behalf of Professor Ganesh Ramakrishnan. He is my PhD guide and life and soul of whatever works I have been doing. So this talk will be about rooted wisdom and being future ready. So I'll talk initially about Gyankul. Gyankul is community-based education system in Mumbai, where we have around 125 students. And how we created this Gyankul is education-based pedagogy and experience-based pedagogy, where students' experience is most important key. And we also take care of mental health of students and personalities who are grounded in Bharatiya system through some application called Vidur. So, and the Vidur type of applications are backed up by AI models, which are homegrown sovereign AI models, which are created in Bharat, by the Bharat, for the Bharat. So, talking about Gyankul, Gyankul is a community-based school. It is located in, as you can see, Bhandup. This image on the left shows the location of the Gyankul. And we have 3 centers. So we have 3 centers, one at Chembur, Pavai, and Bhandup. So the image on the right is about Chembur Center. So the vision is basically Virasat bhi and Vikas bhi. So we take care of Sanskriti, Parampara, Swabhiman through experiences like our students learn Lathi Kathi, our students learn different latest education and training related things. They also try to do some research activities. They are connected to the faculties at IIT Bombay. And we also encourage Atmanirbharta and Suvigyata. So I was talking to Professor Ganesh yesterday, so he was mentioning that we want our students to not just become prime minister or president or different ministers within India. We have to be very foundational, but they should be so much ready that leaders all over the world should be from India. So that is the vision with which we work. So these are some pointers. So this is the so we started with a small location near Powai where we had we called it Vatsalya Vatika, where we had few students, and reluctantly we expanded when there was a need in the society. Parents actively contribute in Gyalkul. Parents are also teachers in Gyalkul. So it's not that parents just send their students, send their children, and then their responsibility gets over. No, you have to come and you have to teach with us together. So that's the principle we follow. And basically the focus is on holistic curriculum. It's not just classroom-based learning. Students actually work on real-life projects. They prepare, they present to different leaders when they visit our school, and they get feedbacks, they improve from them, and that's how they learn about real world as well. It provides opportunities where students interact with society. So I'll maybe move to the next slide. But this is overall achievement. Students have done Ram Katha and 350 Katha Karyakram when Shivaji Maharaj Rajsurya Abhishek was 30 years of Rajsurya Abhishek of Shivaji Maharaj was completed. So our students did this 350 kathas, and they also did this 75 Krantikari Gathas on 75th Independence Day. So these are some pics from Gyankul, students performing dance, lathi kathi, and participating in different activities. So next I will talk about Vidur. Vidur is a next generation well-being ecosystem. As you can see, 1 out of 8 people suffer from this problem of mental health, and sometimes children are often lost, and sometimes education system does not take care of them properly. So we came up with this idea of creating an app where students and residents can actually fill in the AI-powered form where they get to know about themselves while filling the forms. And then they are suggested some IKS-based training systems. So these are well grounded in IKS. So, and finally, they get expert counseling and counseling through expert mentors. So the heart of such a system is AI-powered ecosystem, which is BharatJin is all about, and IKS-based data. So, in today's existing presentation, I will talk about BharatJin data creation. So how we are creating different types of data grounded in Bharatiya settings. And there is a talk at 6:45 in the evening in which I will talk more about what BharatJin is all about. So in short, BharatJin is multi-IIT and triple IT initiative. It's a consortium with around 10 different faculty members from different IITs and triple ITs, and it is funded by Bharatiya government. And we are creating AI models which are grounded in IKS-related datasets. So, so I'll start with Bolis, right? So the dialects which are important part of Indian knowledge system. So you can see here there are different dialects like Bhatner, Bilaspuri, Muzaffarnagar, Simori, Mandyali, Kulluvi, Sambalpuri, Ghaznavi, and Desai. So these basically right now are the dialects from UP, Himachal, and Odisha, and we have also been covering the audios which we get from all over the India. This particular work is about translating the sentences from dialect to Indian language. For example, here there is a sentence which calls about Mumbai sa swear meeting. So, which means that Mumbai here means Mary. It's a Kuluvi word. So, but the model understands this as Mumbai. Okay, so, and there are similar sentences related to do you have a pet, but models understand as do you have such animal with you, or there are similar sentences in Odia where these models can't understand the local dialects. So this is the data we collected. We collected around 11,000 sentences in the dialects mentioned here. And how we collected all this data is through OCR technology. Manually, there are team members who are annotating and doing quality check of the annotations, and we also collect audio data through web applications like Telegram, WhatsApp, and other applications. So this is a glimpse of the data. We have same sentence. For example, these are very simple sentences. The first one and last one is little complex, but we have same sentence in different dialects. So you can see, "Aap aaj kaise hain?" in Kuluvi is "Tujhe sa theek aj," and so on. And we have translation of same sentences in 4 dialects of Odia as well as UP. And this is the overall data collected till now. Around 30,000 sentences have been collected. And if you actually search about these sentences, most of them will not be available on web. So again, this is the summary of the data set. This particular graph shows how far a language is from Hindi. So the Merathi is closest to Hindi, that's why number is 0.17, and Desai is farthest from Hindi. So that's why the number is 0.62. So this is the approach we use. What we do is we pass the original sentence. For example, here there is a sentence, "मेरे शिक्षक ने बताया ब्रह्मांडीय किरणें कैसे बनती हैं." So you can see the data is grounded in Indian scenario and education related data. We tokenize the sentence, and then we also use bilingual language dictionaries, as you can see on the top right. And we give a translation through that bilingual dictionary to the model. And finally, the model predicts the Hindi translation. So, okay, so Hindi is the input, so model predicts the translation in the dialect, and we can also do the reverse. So when we go from dialect to Hindi, then this output will become the input, and input will become the output. So interestingly, we find that when we go from a dialect to language, for example, Kuluvi to Hindi, the results improve when we concatenate these two inputs, as we have seen in the previous slide. We take the original sentence and a dictionary-based translation. We give both of them as input and predict the sentence in the target language or dialect. So when we go from dialect to language, the results of such a model are highest. You can see 61.32. Now we also try one approach where we give this dictionary-based translation as first output to the model and tells model to correct directly based on this orange input. So interestingly, because these models have not seen Indian languages, what we observe is that actually the dictionary-based model followed by AI is better than the hybrid model which we see on the previous slide. So you can see 48.44 is the blue score for a model which only sees the orange text and translates to the target language. Whereas if we give blue as well as orange to the model, it gets confused actually. So this shows that our dictionaries, our lexicons, our vocabulary is very important part of doing translation to Indian dialects. Whereas because these models have seen Hindi and common languages, so dialect to language when you go, the translation for models, translation by models is easy as compared to going from language to dialect. And that's why model does not get confused if you give original sentence as well as the dictionary-based translation as input. So we are also working on doing large-scale OCR. We are doing digitization and transcription of millions of documents in Indian languages. This is a system where there is document image on the right, and on the left we have the machine-generated data, which is in Sanskrit, and it is color-coded using word conjoining rules. And this system overall use multiple auxiliary sources, as you can see in the blocks. Some of them are static resources, some of them are dynamic. They get updated on the fly. And as user use such system, interestingly, we saw in different languages that there is a fatigue stage after few pages are corrected by the user. And because of this color coding suggestions and adaptive resources, actually users are able to overcome this fatigue stage. And especially in Sanskrit, when we started, actually it was taking 40 minutes per page, and we reduced it to 15 minutes per page few years back. And now we have also created such systems for palm leaf manuscripts. These are some example data sets. And when we started working on palm leaf manuscripts, what we observed was the existing transcription systems, they gave more red than green. So whatever green you see right now, that much part was red when we started. And now we have, transformed it to 70% of characters are correct and 30% are incorrect. So to summarize, initially when we started, 30% of characters were correct and 70% were incorrect. But we continuously updated our models, and we reached to the stage where the output is 70% correct now and 30% incorrect. So all this is very important data, right? So we have around crores of manuscript pages which need such transcription. And the AI models which we are developing are grounded on this data. And not just grounded on the data, but also the Bharatiya viewpoint, which Professor Gantimurthy was also talking about. It's not just about the data. So we are also creating conversational boards around that I will share in the talk at 6:45 p.m. So we are also doing some grounded works based on GCN, where we verify whether the OCR output is correct or not. So these are different stages. We have the image and the OCR output. We convert this OCR output to an image using some renderer. And then we create graphs for both the outputs and match at Akshara level whether the characters are same or not same. And this all is done in unsupervised way. You don't need any training data. And you can train a model to basically identify whether there are errors in the output or not. So in this particular case, there are no errors. So you can see there are similar characters in the input and output. So this is very explainable model which tells if there is an error in the final output of OCR, and if there is an error, then why there is an error. For example, if instead of array in the end, ARP is predicted, then we will know which node is contributing to the error. Yeah, so we try these graph convolutional networks at different levels of granularity. So this is what this slide talks about. If you see the bottom right image, we tried working at character level, where there is a split here. We tried splitting the word images at Akshara level, as well as we did some random splits. So what we observed was that Akshara level split actually gives the best results. So which is again grounded in IKS knowledge. And if we use off-the-shelf English systems, then we can't try out these things. Yeah, so with this, I would like to conclude. So I talked about Gyan Bharatam initiative, and then I talked about Vidur app, which is backed up by the AI systems which are created by Bharatjan consortium. Yeah, so feel free to connect to us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Rohit Saluja. And we will have question answer session later on in just discussions and observations. So your deliverance on rooted wisdom and virasat bhi vikas bhi, it's very interesting, and the complexities of languages, and we will throw light later on this very, very special topic. And thank you so much. Now I invite Professor Shiv Prasad ji from Cochin University of Science and Technology, and he told me that it is not about social science, but I always feel that there is theoretical framework of Bharatiya Gyan Parampara in naval architect also. Professor Shiv Prasad ji from Cochin University of Science and Technology.
Honorable Professor Surekha Madam, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Dune University, Dehradun, my fellow speakers, participants, students, and other well-wishers. Though Madam was mentioning that I would be talking about naval architecture, I can probably, that there is a time limitation of 20 minutes. I may not be able to go into that. I may take a advance bail that I'm not a social activist or a social scientist. I'm a naval architect and engineer by profession. So whatever I say, if there is anything missing, you may please excuse me. I will start with Jnana Parampara, that is wisdom or knowledge, whatever it is. The Jnana Parampara in Indian tradition start with Lord Shankara. His Damaru has created Nada, and the Nada has turned into the knowledge system. So one of the lineage of Shankara, Adi Shankara, he is known as Adi Shankara, he was born in Kerala. Adi Shankara's life, if you see, there are two major incidents where the Indian knowledge system, how you acquire knowledge, is expressed very explicitly. One was when Shankara, he was coming from Kerala, he was ousted by Kerala people because he was not fit to Kerala. He went out. He had a very big travel across India. And when he reached Orissa, there was a samvad, a discussion, very healthy discussion between Adi Shankara and a learned person called Mandana Mishra. And Shankara was about to, Mandana Mishra was one of the intellectual giants of Indian history. So when Shankara was about to defeat Mandana Mishra's wife, who was standing nearby, she asked a question. You are a sannyasin. You don't have any experience of a kudumba. You don't have family experience. Then how can you argue with Mandana Mishra? You lack that. And Shankara was thrilled. He was totally, he took it as a challenge, and he invented a method of, only he could, I don't know whether we can do that. He invented a method of parakaya pravesham. That time, Shankara knew that, Adi Shankara knew that some king was dead nearby. So because of his ability, tapas, his Atman was taken to that king's body, and the king suddenly he raised from his dead position, and Shankara lived with that king, lived as that king for some years, and experienced the family life. This is one of the knowledge seeking or knowledge acquiring in Indian system shown by Shankara. There's a new advanced, very advanced system, probably no medical science can ever explain, but it is clearly Shankara did that and he explained something afterwards. Another incident, when Shankara was crossing somewhere in a forest, he was confronted with a Chandala, who is a cannibal, who eats the human flesh. Shankara said, you just get out of my way. There's a Chandala. He gave a reply, whether my body should go away or the Atman inside should go off. Shankara was totally confused. Then he started probably the Advaita. There is no difference. Everything the same and from a Chandala. So this is also when we seek knowledge, absolutely there was no reference. You should seek it from a person of learned person, a man with a beard and all. No, Shankara showed this way that you have to learn from everybody. That is the essence of Indian knowledge tradition. We should seek from each and every life in the world. The name Bharat. Bharat, somebody was mentioning in the morning with respect to his way of explanation. Some Laya Tala, something like that he was explaining. But in Sanskrit, there is an explanation for Bharat. Bha in Sanskrit means light. Light, knowledge, enlightenment. Bha, Bhaskaran is one of the name for sun, Aditya. Bha. Rati means interest or desire. So Bharat is a nation, is a concept which is interested in acquiring knowledge. That is Bharati, Bharatam. So the essence of Bharat is knowledge. The Bharatiyas are actually a knowledge-driven society from time immemorial. That is why we sustained even after years together, whereas Greek and Roman culture disappeared into oblivion. But Bharat existed because we were having the quest for knowledge. You need to have knowledge for enlightenment, for sustenance. The knowledge should be improvised, that should be modified. So you have to have more knowledge based on the basic knowledge, the fundamental knowledge, and that is the acquisition of new knowledge or improvisation of the existing knowledge. That is nothing but research. So we existed. Bharat as a country, as a nation existed because of this conceptual, that kind of a notion that we should have a knowledge-driven society driving our life. But our knowledge, the concept of knowledge, start with Vedas, Upanishads, Puranas, Idihasas, many other stories, commentaries, many millions of literature is available, which is the source of our knowledge. In one of the Puranas, I will come to Madam's reference. In one of the Puranas, I don't know which Purana, and our fundamental, the concept of God is divided into three fundamental gods. One is the God of creation, that is Brahman. The second one is the God of maintenance, sustainer, that is Vishnu. And there is a God, you can never see this God outside, that is Shiva, who is the God of destroyer, God of destruction. So construction, maintenance, and destruction. And one occasion in one of the Puranas, it says that Shiva, the destroyer, he operates through another god, sub-god called Yama. It's called Kala also. Unfortunately, there was an argument, heated argument between Shiva and Yama, and Shiva killed Yama. There is an instance in our Purana. What happened was, the decaying process, the destruction process, the death was dead. You can imagine, suppose nothing is decaying in this world, what will happen to the world? There is a very good poetry in Malayalam which says about Kalan, the Kala when Kalan was not there. Kala, when Kala was not there. And description is beautifully described how people, they are not dying and the population is increasing and the world is collapsing like that. There is a poem. So I took this concept of these three gods, especially the last god, Shiva, and Shiva killing Yama for my research. That is ship recycling. Suppose you don't destroy, you disassemble a ship, what will happen to the ports and the seaways? The entire seaways will be clogged with ships and no more shipping or ship movement will happen. So I took this principle of one of the knowledge, the traditional knowledge contained in Indian traditional knowledge system for my research, and my research was a pioneering research in the world in ship recycling. So I propose something which will actually beneficial for India, because India is the biggest ship recycler internationally. So that was, I took it from our Vijnana Parampara and produced a technological research paper. So this should be one of the mechanisms by which you should be doing it. You take something from the Bharatiya Vijnana Parampara, convert it into a social circle or a technical circle or whatever it is, and produce something and which will be beneficial for the society. That should be one of the ways of doing research based on our Indian knowledge system. Indian knowledge system survived. Ramayana is supposed to have been written. It is not actually calculated because the celestial star's position when Rama was born it has been calculated, not 5,000 or 10,000, something beyond that, because that position easily the celestial calculation can calculate. So it was some 10,000 years ago. So Ramayana, our tradition, it continued right from that era to this era because it has got some value. It's sustained because it has got some value. So we should be following this Ramayana, for example. It has got hundreds of versions. In Kerala itself, I have done some research. There is an Islamic Ramayana. There is a Maoist Ramayana. And if you see like this, there are many dialects and many languages. Each language will have a Ramayana which may not be similar to Valmiki Ramayana. Different Ramayanas. So that sustenance of Ramayana is because of the value, the content inside it. It is not because of Valmiki's literary skill, but because it has got something inside. So that's sustained. So we have to take, for example, Ramayana is a good literature for administration. Each and every step, if you take from Ramayana, you can probably, the Ram Raj will be made in India. Absolutely no doubt about that. So this literature and the knowledge content inside it can be used for any purpose. Even now, that is why Ramayana is called as a classic. And it will remain forever. You can tap it for a better India or a Vikasit Bharat. There is no doubt. There are two Chiranjeevis in Ramayana. Chiranjeevi he is not a person. It is a character which will exist as long as human being will exist. Because Hanuman is one of the Chiranjeevis. He is for devotion. And the Sri Lankan, the younger brother of Vibhishana, he is a Chiranjeevi of spying. He spies. The spying was there. Even now spying should be there for existence of the world. So Vibhishana was a spy. That is a Chiranjeevi. So there are many characters in Ramayana which can be copied for better administration. But what happened was, our tradition, knowledge tradition sustained. We even survived very brutal attacks of Mughals, Lodhis, the Ghazni, Gori, everybody, Taimur, everybody attacked us as we survived. But when the British came, they had a plan to destroy the knowledge. The Macaulayism, what is it called? And Macaulay destroyed our knowledge system. Macaulay did not attack our treasures. He did not loot, but he attacked the knowledge system. Thereby we had very big problem. Our tradition, our everything collapsed because of Macaulay's attack. And I come from a family. The family had a university from 1800 AD to 1950 AD, 150 years, free, running free, and without any consideration of caste and creed. They were accepting students from all society, all regions of society. So when Swami Vivekananda toured Kerala, he landed in our family. He was not allowed to enter a famous Kali temple. That Kodungalur, my name says. Kodungalur. He was not allowed to enter Kali temple. And the priest asked, which caste you belong to? He said, I don't have caste. Can't you see I am a human being? Then he said, afterwards, he was not allowed. Afterwards, he said, Kerala is a lunatic asylum. Kerala is simply a lunatic asylum. And when he visited our family house, he was surrounded by the lady members of my family. And he discussed something with those ladies. And when he went to California, in one of the meetings in San Francisco, Vivekananda said, I met 5 or 6 ladies in that lunatic asylum, Malabar, who spoke to me in Sanskrit. But the content, that was not the content. He discussed with that ladies one of the commentaries of Brahma Sutra, which was released 1 year before in Calcutta. So they discussed about that the commentary of Brahma Sutra, which was released 1 year, that was 1892, and the family could get that copy of that Brahma Sutra commentary within 1 year. That was the knowledge-based system followed then. So Vivekananda commented this. And Vivekananda said, because there were many luminaries, very knowledge persons, Vivekananda commented, why can't you translate all the Hindu texts, the Sanatana text into Malayalam and make aware the population and to prevent the actual influence of convent education, the English education. They followed Vivekananda's words, and one of the family members, he translated the entire Mahabharata within 2.5 years. Even Vyasa would have taken years together to make it. He translated within 2.5 years. That was Vivekananda's. He asked them to translate the Indian knowledge treasure should reach the common people because it was controlled to Malayalam. And the Kerala people could get the essence of Kalidasa, Maka and Bhatti. So that was and I could refer to him that the translation of the Indian knowledge, which is actually somewhere in some other language, like many languages, that should be translated to a common language so that the people will get the treasure. And that tool, that kit can be used for the actual the requirement of Swami Vivekananda. You translate and make it to the people. So this is my word on this. Translation is one of the tools for social research. Make it possible, and there are many AI based applications to get the knowledge spread in our society so that our knowledge system will be sustained, it will be improved, improvised, and for the Vikasit Bharat it will be used. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Shiv Prasad ji, for your insightful deliberation. Now I invite Dr. Ajit Kumar Sharma. His introduction is Professor of Practice of Doon University.
आप सबको सादर प्रणाम। हमारे समाज में कुछ भी शुरू करने से पहले एक छोटा संस्कृत का श्लोक है, उस श्लोक को याद किया जाता है। गुरुर् ब्रह्मा गुरुर् विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वर गुरुर् साक्षात परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। भारत एक राष्ट्र के तौर पे कोई नया राष्ट्र, कोई नई अनुभूति नहीं है, लेकिन इस समाज में पहले जो शिक्षा का आदान प्रदान होता था वो होता था श्रुति और स्मृति से। आप सब समझते हैं श्रुति और स्मृति क्या चीज़ है? बाय हियरिंग एंड कम्युनिकेटिंग। इसका ये मतलब नहीं था कि लिखना पढ़ना नहीं आता था, लेकिन गुरुकुल पद्धति के अंदर विद्या जो थी वो दी उसे जाती थी जो पात्र अच्छा हो और जिसकी पात्रता भी अच्छी हो। तो गुरु अक्सर बहुत सारा ज्ञान जो है वो सूत्रों के रूप में बोल के सुनाते थे और शिष्य उसको ग्रहण करते थे और उस प्रकार फिर बाद में उसकी विवेचना होती थी, टीका होती थी उसके ऊपर और अनेक तरीके से फिर उसके ऊपर डिस्कशन हुआ करते थे। ये कॉन्टेक्स्ट रखना इसलिए ज़रूरी है कि वी डू नॉट कम फ्रॉम अ सोसाइटी विच इज़ very familiar with the art of writing, the need of commercializing or the need of protecting one's own intellectual property. और इसीलिए मैंने ये जो टॉपिक यहाँ रखा है उससे पहले मैंने सोचा कि ये प्राइमर थोड़ा मैं रखूँ सामने कि एक ऐसा समाज जो सोचता है कि ज्ञान सबके बेहतरी के लिए है वर्सेस एक और दूसरा समाज जिसके साथ हम आज आई टू आई खड़े हैं, विच इज़ द वेस्टर्न आइडियोलॉजी और द वेस्टर्न सोसाइटी सो टू से, जिनके यहाँ पे बहुत पहले से उनके यहाँ श्रुति स्मृति का कोई कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं था, क्योंकि ना उनको श्रुति आती थी ना उनके पास स्मृति की कोई ज़्यादा चीज़ें थी। वो बेसिकली आदिम हवा युग से जाके वो सीधे के सीधे मतलब लिखने पढ़ने पे ही आ गए, तो उनके पास कोई बहुत ज़्यादा इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रोग्रेस नाम की कोई चीज़ हुई नहीं, साइंटिफिक प्रोग्रेस हुई। बट यहाँ पे इस समाज में थोड़ा सा फ़र्क अलग था, तो इसीलिए उनकी पब्लिशिंग कैपेबिलिटी, उनके लिखने पढ़ने की या रिकॉर्ड करने की जो क्षमता थी वो पहले से रजिस्टर होकर और काफ़ी आगे तक चली गई, और हम अभी भी कंपैरेटिवली पीछे रह गए हमारे ज्ञान को। मुझे ये पॉइंट इसलिए याद आया क्योंकि लॉर्ड मैकॉले का नाम लिया आपने। लॉर्ड मैकॉले जो हैं वो ब्रिटेन में बड़े इस्टेब्लिश्ड विद्वान हैं। उन विद्वान की खास बात यह है कि उन्होंने भारत को पूरी तरह से तोड़ दिया। वहाँ जहाँ भारत की जो सबसे बड़ी शक्ति थी उसी को उन्होंने निशाना बनाया और उसको क्षति क्षति करके उसको बिल्कुल बर्बाद कर दिया। तो वहाँ से मुझे याद आया और मैं सोच रहा था कि ये कैसे हुआ, और ये हालांकि ये कोई प्लान नहीं था, मैं प्लान कुछ और ही था, मैं बहुत लंबा चौड़ा लिख के लाया था, मगर मुझे लगा कि ये बात यहाँ उठानी ज़रूरी है, ये कॉन्टेक्स्ट ज़रूरी है, क्योंकि हम बात कर रहे हैं इंडिया सेंट्रिक रिसर्च, इंडिया सेंट्रिक डेवलपमेंट और इसी के आसपास में। तो माननीय कुलपति जी, मंच पे उपस्थित सभी सम्मानित व्यक्ति, मेरे साथी सहयोगी, आज शुरू करने से पहले जो नीड थी वो मैंने रखी कि वो नीड क्या थी, कि वहाँ पे क्यों डेवलप हो गया और हम क्यों पीछे रह गए। क्योंकि जब तक लॉर्ड मैकॉले आए तब तक भी हमारे पास ज्ञान जो था वो इसीलिए टूट गया क्योंकि रिकॉर्डेड वर्जन में कुछ नहीं पड़ा हुआ था हमारे पास, प्रिंटेड वर्जन में कुछ नहीं था. देयर वर नो लाइब्रेरीज. जो लाइब्रेरी थी वो काइंड कर्टसी सम ऑफ आवर फ्रेंडली कॉन्टिनेंटल नेबर्स वाज डिस्ट्रॉयड इन नालंदा, इन तक्षशिला एंड एवरीवेयर एल्स. सो जो रिकॉर्ड्स थे वो बर्न कर दिए और जो एग्जिस्टेड थे उसको एक्सपोर्ट कर दिया, और हमारी ही चीज़ों को सुन के, लिख के, पढ़ के हमें ही ज्ञान देने की क्षमता उन्होंने प्रोड्यूस कर ली. तो शुरू करने से पहले मैं ये ज़रूर बोलूँगा कि इंडिया सेंट्रिक रिसर्च आज की एक बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट और आवश्यक एक ज़रूरत है. इट इज़ नॉट समथिंग दैट वी it's not the need of the hour, it is the need to excel in the world, because the world has concentrated into the binary format of ones and zeros. Entire world has gone digital now. Whether you like it or you don't like it, world is digital. World talks in the language of everything has been converted to data. So that is why every research that is produced in India is again multi-purpose data points which are being created by different sources. Okay, just give me a second. I came from a very pleasant 18 degrees to probably 28 degrees here, and I'm sweating like a pig probably, but sorry about that. Overnight transition हो गया मौसम का मेरे लिए, from a very cold to a very hot environment. Anyhow, so the point that I was trying to make is that the world has gone digital, and you can see there is no need to educate you. All of us now exist. So there is one real personality, and then there is a personality called the digital personality. There's one life which is my real life, and then one life is my social, which is essentially my digital life which is existing. So that is where the challenge is. So before we go forward, I think publishing, when we often think of journals, right? Books. Anybody has any other thought on publishing? Magazines, papers? Any other thoughts on publishing? Anybody? Because we are all in the business of producing content. Anyone? थोड़ा जोर से बोलिए, कहाँ से आई आवाज़ जी? Articles, reviews, yes. Books. Anything else? So what are these? What are these books, journals, articles? What are these? Essentially, how do you define these? We'll go there, sorry. What are these? Ji? They're essentially data points, right? They're essentially data points. अब हम चाहे रामायण की बात करें या महाभारत की, वो है तो एक सोशल और सोशियो इकोनॉमिकल रेफरेंस पॉइंट है हमारे लिए कि हमारा समाज द्वापर में, त्रेता में कैसा हुआ करता था. For all those who call these books as mythology, please stand corrected. These are historical, evidence-based, proper periodicals. They are not stories or upanyas as some people, or poetry as some people would like to call it. So, abhi, India is at a very peculiar position. I'm not following the PPT as much, because the PPT was designed for a 15-slide, 35 minutes presentation, which does not follow that design, and it is, let's just, so some of the places I will use them as a referral point, but broadly you can go through the PPT which is there. I will structure my talk in and around those relevant points. Okay. So these data points are essentially, they are telling us that as a society we have a momentum, as a society we have some talent, as a society we have policy support, as a society we have, because of publishing, we have global attention, and at the institutional level, the decisions that institutions make in the next 5 years, in my humble opinion, will genuinely define. No other institution but the educational institute, the higher education, the vice chancellors, the professors, deans, faculties, the decisions that they made today to the next 5 years will decide what India is going to be in the next 5 years, 10 years. So all the big talk on Viksit Bharat 2047 will all fall down if the academia is not connected to the world reality in its real context. So I was planning to give you a publishing context in India. I'm not able to decide which part of the talks I should breach, because the moment we start talking about them, the discussion goes on a very larger front. But I think it's important to understand that, I think I will let you know that this. So treat this as a strategic conversation rather than a talk. That will give you more relatability. So one would ask, why am I having this talk today? Or in general, why is this so much of conjointed efforts towards a developing India or a Viksit Bharat program? Anybody who can tell me the real reason behind it? Why all this? Suddenly, do you think as a country, as a nation, we were going through a period of amnesia, or there's been a change in our standpoint? Or there is real data point which suggests that yes, yahi samay hai, sahi samay hai. Who has said this? Who? The Prime Minister. What's going on in his mind? What's going on in his mind? Yahi samay hai, sahi samay hai. So you don't go by what I'm saying, okay? Don't go by what Pradhan Mantri Shri Modi ji is saying. Look at what was the scenario 5 years earlier. Look at try and visualize the scenario which will be 5 years later from now. You will come to a very clear understanding that India as a society was very different 5 years ago, whereas where we are standing now, and towards where we can be as a society 5 years down the line, okay? And why these things are happening? These are no wishful thinkings. The government has been working consistently, the academic institutions, the academic leaders, the vice chancellors have been working consistently from last almost 10 years, step by step, one painful step after other, and it's a very arduous climb on of the cliff. You're not talking about flat ground walking. You're talking about a cliff which is going step by step higher and higher and higher. Because in order to be where you want to be in 2047, there is a lot of, in corporate lingo, it said that your performance is here, your expectations are here, so there is a gap between your performance and your expectation as a society, as an individual, right? So how do you fill that gap? If anyone of you is a head of the department would want to explain, I am your team member, my performance is here, which is probably as at the early career PhD research scholar level. My expectation that I should be treated as a full professor with all the zinc banks, which is here. If I have to fulfill this gap, is it possible to do it in 5 years' time? Anyone? Has to be an acceleration. Right. Okay. Anybody from science can define what acceleration is for me? What is acceleration? थोड़ा जोर से बोलिए प्रभु, ऊंचाई पे खड़ा हूं, ऊंचा सुनता हूं. Rate of change of velocity. How does change, what impacts the change? Change कैसे आ रहा है हमारी सोसाइटी में? Change कैसे आ रहा है? Anyone? Just talk through, otherwise this is going to be a very, very long talk. Ma'am will probably not give me a speaking opportunity ever again in my life. So how? Thoughts are thoughts. But when you want to change it, you need to take some action. For action, there has to be some sort of activity. For activity, you need intent, you need support, you need finances, you need decision. There is a whole lot of ecosystem which goes on for one single, if you need to make the campus anti-ragging campus, as in a real anti-ragging campus, or a prevention of sexual harassment as in a full formal enforcement, what do? Just putting it on notice board or putting up in parliament will help, or there are concrete actions which needs to be taken? Are there softer actions, or these are tough, difficult actions? So the reason I'm giving you this question is because when I'm saying that there are changes that needs to be done, and these changes have been very consistent by the academic leaders, they have brought one good change. The momentum of the country as a research entity has gone many points forward. So there are two things which has happened. India has suddenly become very visible as a research entity. India is being trusted internationally. For all those, I know for a fact in science, it is very well established. In social sciences, it is very well established. Barring geography and some of the other topics, I think we are almost a nation to reckon with in most of the areas where the research is conducted. And the one or two areas where we have not been very strong is because there are certain reasons why we have not achieved that. And I think in the next 2-3 years, those gaps also will be filled. So publishing is what they're doing. All that social research which is happening, अभी तक आप सोच रहे थे publishing छापने का एक जरिया है. Yes or no? हम कुछ कर रहे हैं, so वो छाप देंगे. और वो कर देंगे तो मतलब it's kind of a relationship that we were thinking of. I'm putting the entire positioning back on your head. I'm saying that look at publishing from now onwards as your gateway to global access. Because what gets visible gets exposure, and I will come to this point later on. So hold on to this thought, okay? It also connects your universe to the industry, or your university is a better word. If your research is up to the mark, if your research is good, if your research is popular, people from the research fraternity are seen as an experts by the industrial partners, and it is established. Publishing also connects India to the world, okay? So research visibility, so if you remove, and this is the last point that I will talk for the publishing because it's too much of publishing now. But if you remove the publisher from the research ecosystem, then the visibility suddenly drops down. The collaboration will slow down, the funding slow down, and the innovation, of course, because whatever you're publishing is not getting recognized at the level where it should be. So for institutional reputation, global ranking, funding attraction, international partnerships, I think this is why the conversation is so important, that we should address the bull by its horn today. Let's create an environment for me as an academician myself. I should look at publishing as a partner and then use them to the maximum advantage that I can, not just for myself, but for my campus and for my entire academic, the ecosystem, okay? How many papers do you think gets published across the world? And what is the Indian contribution? I don't think the number is visible here, is it? Yeah, it is here. Let's look at India से कितने पेपर पब्लिश होते होंगे एक साल में? अभी current numbers. Quickly. Worldwide, there are about 3.5 million papers that gets published every year. For every article which gets published, there is about, how should I put it, at least 80 times of that is rejected and is in the publishing pipeline. You understand? Let's look at these staggering numbers here. So 20% of the total submitted gets published, rest everything is stacked on the publisher's table. So what is it that we should be doing? Actually, I will tell you something more. I will suggest that we should, because I don't want to leave you into a haphazard discussion mode. I wanted to convey a very strong message on something else. In a very short period of time, I don't think that's going to be a possibility. I'm here and I can be reached through Doon University at any point in time with reference to publishing questions and with our requirements, okay? It's a very sad thing for me because there's a lot of very good information that I have brought for you. But unfortunately, in the quick succession, it's very, very difficult to, because unless you know what we're talking about, without the context, anything that I can come and blah, 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 it's not going to make sense to you. So this is the basic context that I have set. From this context, how much time do I have, Avasthi ji?
Just Ajit ji, couple of minutes, because we have one more speaker.
Okay.
Earlier he was absent, but now we have Professor Rohit Gujral ji.
Oh, lovely.
And then at 5 o'clock we have important session by Krishna Gopal ji. So we all will have to be there.
Fantastic. All right. So then, how many of you are aware of what is happening on the ONOS front? One nation, one subscription. Just give me a raise of hands of what is your familiarity with the ONOS definition or actual position, what ONOS is. Okay. The new education policy, how many of you have really exercised the new education policy for the growth manifesto of the universities? Anyone who's really done it? Because there's a question that I needed to ask. Okay. Okay, there's something that I want to do before I leave. I just want to give you some key inputs. Okay, forget about just shut off the screen for a while, okay? I want to leave you with a couple of thoughts. Note it down, and I'm here today evening and tomorrow, full day here, only day after is when I'm leaving. Counting paper is easy, measuring impact is harder. This is something that I want you to remember. Park it in your notebook and come back to me for a discussion. And measuring impact is genuinely what will matter to you as an academic professional in your future. Okay? Hold on to this. Then I want you to really, really leave you. What a pity. Okay. IPR is something that all of you are familiar with. Okay. So I can talk a little more about IPR, not today, not in this session, but from papers to patents, there's something that I wanted to really drive it through. And so that you know what to ask me when you meet me quickly. Ma'am, I think if I go without the proper this thing, it'll confuse because it's a little connected discourse. So I'm sorry, it's a complete failure on my part of not having able to communicate what I came here to communicate. But thank you for being a patient audience. And I'm here. I have a lot of interesting information for you. Basis the setup that we did in last 15 minutes, we can definitely catch up again and have a little more meaningful discussion with each other. All right? Thank you so much for your attention and time. Next time will be a better thing.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ajit Sharma. And I would like to share that he's a treasure of information and knowledge. So anyone who want to ask about publications and patents and IPR and everything, you can just contact him.
Dear friends, we are very sorry for the last minute changes in the program. So, Professor Ajit Kumar Sharma, we are again sorry for sparing. Yeah. So I think we can have few questions with Professor Sharma in the tea break session or during the lunch or dinner sessions. So now we have our next speaker, Professor Rohit Gujral. He is currently serving as director at Lovely Professional University since July 2021, where responsibilities include managing relationships with external stakeholders, particularly with the Government of India, and formulating strategic plans for union institutions' future. And simultaneously, Professor Gujral holds the position of director at Masters Union and has been with GD Goenka Group since January 1996, overseeing strategic management efforts, including franchising initiatives for the GD Goenka brand. Professor Gujral also holds PG DMB in Marketing from Institute of Management Technology, Ghaziabad, and the bachelor's degree from Delhi University. Can I invite anyone from Podar Group of Institute, chairperson or ma'am, to felicitate Professor Gujral? Or our chief coordinator, sir, since the time the computer is getting connected, so we can use that time to felicitate Professor Gujral.
I'll tell you. Hi, I'm Rohit Gujral, and I started my career by establishing a school. So, and I was 23 years of age. So I have been in education since my childhood, apart from either I was studying or I was teaching. So what we realized when I opened a school and then I opened a university, we realized that there was a major gap between what we were teaching and what the industry wanted, very clearly. The industry did not get employment-ready students from us. So we thought a lot, and we realized that the difference is the way we teach. How are doctors made? Doctors are also students. They have undergraduate studies, then they have postgraduate studies. But doctors are taught by practicing doctors. You know, doctors who are doing operations are also teaching the students. So we embarked on a major process of redefining how we teach. So I have a small presentation to show you, and then you can ask me questions or we can have a one-to-one. Can we show them the video, please? This video is of a Masters Union University, which we are opening in Gurgaon at the moment.
Question: will cramming theory and listening to lecture after lecture really prepare you for the true business world? Here's a hint. So, what will? Think about it. If medical students are trained by real doctors in real hospitals with real patients,
then why should learning business be any different?
this is Masters Union, a next generation business school where learning happens both inside and outside the classroom.
Where classes are taught by CXOs, unicorn founders, award-winning professors, and even members of the parliament.
So how is Masters Union different from every other school or university? It's simple. We learn business
By doing business. Let me unpack that for you.
In term 1, we apply what we learn in class by building our own e-commerce stores through the drop shipping challenge.
Over here we know that old textbooks don't teach modern marketing. So we learn it by running our own social channels that run up to hundreds or even thousands of followers.
We also learn the art of pitching by crafting and presenting our own TEDx talks.
He's talking about how we learn finance by running our own 5 crore fund where we invest in startups, equities and even in real estate.
Wow. From dosa chips to motorcycle service solutions, pharmaceutical supply chains to Golgappa franchisees. Some businesses work, some don't. But learning by doing,
That always works.
our professors are industry leaders and our future recruiters. We learn fundraising from India's top VCs, navigating complexity from a NASA professor, and leading teams from an Indian Army veteran.
high class.
Song wong ki kar rahi hai tumhare ko.
Branded content viral banana is like the last thing you should do.
You are not a leader if you don't upset a few people sometimes. When it comes to entrepreneurship, speed over anything else.
Do you hire MBA students?
Absolutely, my own CEO is an MBA.
And the list goes on. Concepts like design thinking aren't taught through presentations, but through the process of designing an actual AK-47.
So how's that for hands-on learning?
This innovative teaching method has enabled our seniors to crack top jobs like these in companies like Microsoft, Bain, BCG, and several other A-listers. Some of our friends have also gone on to create successful startups, raising millions of dollars in funding, and with classmates that you can network, partner, and collaborate with, and professors who are more than just your teachers. You never know when your next billion-dollar idea strikes. And where does a B school like this belong? In the middle of an award-winning business park, right next to the recruiters themselves.
So stop waiting to begin
And start learning.
By doing.
Right here at Masters Union. I'll see you on the other side.
Yeah. So I'll summarize it in 3 points. So we decided, where do we open this? We've opened it in a business district. So students are directly in touch with all the business leaders. Second, how do we teach them? So we have IIT professors, professors from IIMs who are pedagogy experts, who make what has to be taught. They design the pedagogy. But delivery is done by actual industry leaders. So Naveen Munjal teaches there. You saw all the names. I'm not going to repeat them again. Fourth and important thing is that they have to do business. Or they have to make a project. If they're learning engineering, they have to make a project. If they're doing business, they have to make a business. So we evaluate them on actual working. By the time they're finished with us, they are completely employable, or they are skilled enough to go into another progression. That is, if they have an undergraduate degree, they can move on to a postgraduate degree. I would not like to take much of your time. I'm sure this was explanatory. Any questions you want to ask me, you can ask me quickly. Yes, ma'am. Working on it, ma'am. Working on it. Sure. I'll give you my card. The thing is that implementing it in school is difficult, much more difficult than doing it in college, because college is short duration. School, we have to work for 13 years. So, yeah, but we're getting to it. We're definitely getting to it. We've started something in Bangalore. Let's see how well it goes. Anything else, please? Thank you very much. Very nice talking to you, all of you. Thank you very much.
चल रहा है Thank you so much. Today, this session, Bharat-centric research, basically it was Shodh Mein Bharat. That was the topic, and we had Professor Rohit Saluja from IIT Mandi, Professor Shiv Prasad from Cochin University, then Dr. Ajit Sharma has given a very different, absolutely different dimension to this talk. He's Professor of Practice, Doon University, and then Professor Rohit Gujral, Director, Lovely Professional University. It's, you know, the whole ecosystem need to be changed. The whole way of looking at the things and the problem need to be changed. And I think NSIL, the annual conference, is contributing a lot to revise the way of looking at the things. The one question which was addressed by Rohit ji also and Shiv Prasad ji also and Ajit ji, while giving opening remarks, he also highlighted it. The question is the 3 stages of our curriculum and syllabi and teaching, learning and the outcome. One is input, kaisa syllabus hum bana rahe. There we have to think about it. what do you teach and what we are teaching to our students. So making a syllabus is very important thing. हम उसमें जो थियरीज डाल रहे हैं, स्पेशली सोशल साइंसेज में जो फ्रेमवर्क डाल रहे हैं, वो कितना इम्पॉर्टेंट है. I know because I'm from social sciences and language and literature, and I see there is feminism, the overloaded syllabus of social sciences, be it sociology or political science or literature. It is overloaded with gender studies and feminism. And what do we teach? We teach feminism starting in America from 1960, जब तक कि हम बहुत कुछ काम कर चुके थे. And in Europe 1792, when Mary Wollstonecraft was writing her first book, The Vindication of the Right of Women. और हमने क्या किया था 1792 पे, अभी शिव प्रसाद जी ने मंडन मिश्रा जी का जिक्र किया, उनकी वाइफ उभया भारती was not the first feminist, क्योंकि गार्गी, अपाला, घोषा, लोकमित्रा वो एक लंबी लाइन है, लेकिन उभया भारती डिबेट में थी. जब आदिगुरु शंकराचार्य और मंडन मिश्रा के बीच डिबेट चल रही थी, तो उन्होंने जज की भूमिका निभाई 8th सेंचुरी में, लेकिन वो हम पढ़ाना भी नहीं चाहते और हमें पता भी नहीं है. दूसरा 1792 में जब मैरी वुलस्टोनक्राफ्ट रूसो को कह रही थी कि फ्रेंच रिवॉल्यूशन में विमेन कहाँ हैं, हमारी तो बात ही नहीं हुई है, हम कहाँ, हम क्या रिवॉल्यूशन का पार्ट नहीं है क्या, हम राजतंत्र को हटाकर लोकतंत्र स्थापित करने में वी डोंट हैव एनी रोल. उस समय मालवा की महारानी अहिल्याबाई होलकर उससे पहले ही अपने साम्राज्य को कहाँ तक ले गई थी, वो हमको याद भी नहीं है और वो हम सिलेबस में रखना भी नहीं चाहते. मीरा मेरी नज़र में, हम राजस्थान की धरती में हैं, मीरा को फेमिनिज्म की एक स्ट्रॉन्ग यूनिट के रूप में पढ़ाना चाहिए, जिसने राज परिवार को छोड़कर एक जो हमारा फ्रेमवर्क है सोशल साइंसेस का, स्पिरिचुअलिटी, सेल्फ एक्चुअलाइजेशन, सेल्फ रियलाइजेशन, अपने इंटरनल मोड होके हम क्या हैं, जो सुबह जो बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट लेक्चर था कि आर रिलेशनशिप विद आर बॉडी, आर रिलेशनशिप विद आर एग्जिस्टेंस, एंड जो एग्जिस्टेंशियल थियरी आप वेस्टर्न की पढ़ते हैं वो आप केवल सिर पकड़ते हैं. जो एग्जिस्टेंशियल थियरी आप यहाँ से लेते हैं, फिलोसफिकल थियरीज, वो हमारे पूरे होने में परा और अपरा, जिसको मेटाफिजिक्स वेस्टर्न फिलोसफी कहती है, बियॉन्ड दिस फिजिकल वर्ल्ड, वो तो हम कितना पढ़ चुके हैं और वो हम उस मेटाफिजिक्स पे ही खड़े हैं, उस बियॉन्ड दिस फिजिकल वर्ल्ड पे ही खड़े हैं अपने एग्जिस्टेंस में. सो लॉट ऑफ डिस्कशंस आर देयर. आप जो हम एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे थे, प्रोफेसर शिव प्रसाद जी ने कहा था नेवल आर्किटेक्ट पे बात करेंगे. 1497 से 1498 तक कांजी मलम का जिक्र आता है, जिस गुजराती सेलर का कि उन्होंने वास्को डिगामा को एस्कॉर्ट किया था और ईस्टर्न अफ्रीका से कालीकट के रास्ते वो इंडियन कोस्ट में आए थे. उनको जितनी सेलिंग टेक्निक्स आती थी, क्या उस समय हम सेलर नहीं थे, क्या उस समय हम साइंटिस्ट नहीं थे. सो अजीत मिश्रा जी की बात और प्रोफेसर रोहित सलूजा की बात पे मैं इसको वाइंड अप करूंगी कि अगर रिपोजिटरी ही नहीं होगी, अगर डेटा सेट ही नहीं होगा भारत का, अगर हमारी फिलॉसफी का, हमारी आइडियोलॉजी का, हमारे सोचने के तरीके का, हमारा पर्सपेक्टिव का, सुबह उन्होंने एक बहुत ही अच्छा श्लोक कहा था कि इंदिरा माउंटेन को हिट कर रही है काऊ से, और वो बात कुछ और ही हो रही थी. ऐसा ही एक जिक्र आता है कि कृष्ण मक्खन चोर के खाते थे, तो हार्वर्ड यूनिवर्सिटी उसे पढ़ाती है कि कृष्ण बहुत चोर थे और फिर राधा उनकी बांसुरी चोर लेती थी. तो वो कहते थे इसमें फिलॉसफी क्या है, पुलिस स्टेशन जाओ और कृष्ण के बारे में रिपोर्ट कर लो कि उन्होंने चोरी क्यों की. So that superfluous explanation of the deep metaphysical philosophy and the existential philosophy of Indian tradition and Bharatiya intellectual system need to be revised. And it is all the politics of representation and misrepresentation of everything related to Bharat. जितना भी भारत की ज्ञान परंपरा से रिलेटेड है उसका मिस रिप्रेजेंटेशन सोशल साइंसेज में है, और उसी सोशल साइंसेज का जो फ्रेमवर्क है उसको चेंज करने की आवश्यकता है. एंड आई एम वेरी हैप्पी टू सी कि यहाँ पे जो ज्ञान कुल की बात आई, एंड प्रोफेसर गणेश रामाकृष्णन हमारे साथ होते, लेकिन वो आज प्राइम मिनिस्टर, ऑनरेबल प्राइम मिनिस्टर का जो प्रोग्राम है AI समिट जो ग्लोबल हो रही है उसमें उनका एक की रोल है, और उन्हीं की बात रोहित जी ने की. तो उसकी ज़रूरत है। जो कॉम्प्लेक्स लैंग्वेज सिस्टम, आपको ज्ञान हमें तब तक नहीं आएगा जब तक भारतीय भाषा नहीं समझेंगे, भारतीय भाषा तब तक नहीं समझेंगे जब तक उसके कॉम्प्लेक्स सिस्टम को नहीं समझेंगे कि एक सेंटेंस सब्जेक्ट और ऑब्जेक्ट के नाते भारत की मैक्सिमम भाषाओं में एक ही तरीके से बोला जाता है, वो हमको याद नहीं होता। बट इंग्लिश हमें लगता है कि इसमें कुछ भी हमारे कल्चरल नहीं है, बट वी आर वेरी कंफर्टेबल। हमें लगता है इंग्लिश बोल दो, अपना काम चल जाएगा। जो उन्होंने भाषा से नॉलेज, हमें नॉलेज कहाँ से आएगा कि तमिल में 8th सेंचुरी में क्या सोचा जा रहा था, वो डेटाबेस हमें कहाँ से आएगा? तब तक नहीं आएगा जब तक हम उस भाषा में पारंगत नहीं होंगे। तो भारतीय भाषाओं का एआई के माध्यम से एक्सेसिबिलिटी भारत सेंट्रिक रिसर्च को मजबूत करेगी। जितना रिपोजिटरी में आप डेटा सेट डालेंगे उतना एआई बाय भारत होता चला जाएगा। अगर हम अपनी ज्ञान परंपरा, अपनी रिसर्च को उस रिपोजिटरी में नहीं डालेंगे, इनपुट नहीं होगा तो प्रोसेस नहीं होगा, प्रोसेस नहीं होगा तो आउटपुट नहीं आएगा, आउटपुट नहीं आएगा तो जो फॉर द लास्ट 75 years एंड सिंस सेंचुरीज वी हैव बीन टीचिंग, मैकॉले को दोष क्यों देना? उसने तो अपनी बात करनी थी। जैसे जेम्स मिल ने लंदन में बैठ के कह दिया कि भारत के लोग कुछ नहीं जानते, बारबेरिक लोग हैं, हमको ही सिखाना है, कुछ नहीं आता उनको। तो वैसे ही हर एक हमारे बारे में इतिहास लिखता हुआ चला जाएगा ऑक्सफोर्ड यूनिवर्सिटी में बैठ के, और हम अपनी इस स्ट्रॉन्ग रिपोजिटरी का फ़ायदा नहीं उठा पाएंगे। मुझे लगता है सेशन बहुत ही इम्पॉर्टेंट था। अजीत जी से कुछ और भी हम सुनना चाह रहे थे कि हाउ पब्लिकेशन एंड पेटेंट एंड ये हमारी जो श्रुति और स्मृति की आपने बात की कि हमारे यहाँ नॉलेज फॉर ऑल था, मेरा नॉलेज कुछ नहीं था, पेटेंट नहीं था। जो हमारा एक ओनरशिप होती है नॉलेज के ऊपर, वो कभी ओनरशिप नहीं थी। एक जनरेशन से दूसरी जनरेशन में श्रुति के माध्यम से और ओरल ट्रेडिशन के माध्यम से दूसरी सेंचुरी को, दूसरी जनरेशन को इंडिजिनस नॉलेज पास ऑन होता था। उसी का फायदा हमारा रॉ मटेरियल लंदन गया, मर्चेंडाइज में भी ऐसा ही होता था। यहाँ का रॉ मटेरियल मैनचेस्टर जाके फाइन क्लोथ्स में बन के फिर हमारी मार्केट में आ जाता था। बिल्कुल ऐसा ही थेरीज के साथ हुआ। नाट्यशास्त्र, भरतहरि, सबका रॉ मटेरियल वहाँ हुआ। और डीकंस्ट्रक्शनिज्म, पोस्ट स्ट्रक्चरलिज्म, न्यू हिस्टोरिसिज्म, कल्चरल मटीरियलिज्म, कौन सा रिसर्च फ्रेमवर्क है जिसकी एटिमोलॉजी भारत से नहीं निकली है? सारी एटिमोलॉजिकल जितनी भी रूट्स हैं वो भारत में हैं। सो विद द वर्ड्स ऑफ प्रोफेसर रोहित सलूजा, or in the morning lecture what I was sharing with Dr. Swati Best, that शुद्ध लाभ, शून्य लाभ और शुभ लाभ, इस अंतर को अगर हम समझ गए तो हम अपना पूरा फिलोसफिकल फ्रेमवर्क, इट इज़ नॉट अ फाइट बिटवीन वेस्टर्न एंड ओरिएंट, इट इज़ अ फाइट, इट इज़ अ चैलेंज टू रिविजिट, रिवाइज, रीराइट अपने ज्ञान परंपरा को. दैट इज द नीड ऑफ एन आवर दैट वी हैव टू एड ऑन इन द रिपोजिटरी ऑफ इंडियन ट्रेडिशन. एंड अजीत जी पब्लिकेशन के बारे में, क्योंकि इट इज़ ऑल डेटा, डेटा इधर से चोरी, सारे रिव्यूअर तो हमारे चाइनीज़ बैठे हुए द वर्ल्ड क्लास जर्नल्स में, और हम कह रहे हैं कि सिक्योरिटी में उनसे छुपा के रखना है. क्या छुपा के रखना है? सारे साइंटिस्ट तो वहाँ पब्लिश कर रहे हैं, सारा डेटा वहाँ जा रहा है, वो वहाँ से रिव्यू कर रहे हैं, हमारा डेटा वहाँ यूज़ कर रहे हैं. सो फ्रॉम द सिक्योरिटी पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू ऑल्सो पब्लिकेशन, टॉक अबाउट पब्लिकेशन फ्रॉम द भारत सेंट्रिक रिसर्च इज़ वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. डॉक्टर अजीत, इट इज़ वेरी, आई एम रियली थैंकफुल टू यू, एंड ही इज़ विद अस फॉर आई थिंक टुमारो ऑल्सो, ही विल बी हियर. आप लोग प्लीज़ उनसे बात कर सकते हैं कि कैसे पब्लिकेशन और भारत क्यों इंटेलेक्चुअल लैंडस्केप में, जो वो लैंडस्केप जिसको हम बदलना चाह रहे हैं उसमें हमें बहुत नीचे करके दिखाया जाता है, उसमें अपनी तरीके से हम सोचेंगे, कल्चरली सोचेंगे, लोकल प्रॉब्लम का हल ढूंढेंगे और अपने ही फ्रेमवर्क से ढूंढेंगे तो ज़्यादा आसान होगा, जिसमें लैंग्वेज प्लेज अ वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल. इसीलिए मातृभाषा और त्रिभाषा और ये सब राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति में एसेंशियल पार्ट कर दिए गए हैं कि हम अपनी भाषा में सोचते हैं तो हम ज़्यादा क्रिएटिव सोचते हैं, ज़्यादा इनोवेटिव होते हैं, ज़्यादा साइंटिफिक होते हैं. इन सब की ज़रूरत है. और इसमें अगेन वंस अगेन आई रियली, शिवराज जी, NSIL is playing a very very important role. जो भारतीय भाषाओं की बात कर रहे हैं, भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा की बात कर रहे हैं, और सोशल साइंसेज और साइंसेज में अपने फ्रेमवर्क की बात कर रहे हैं जिसको बच्चों तक पहुंचाना एक बहुत ही मुश्किल काम इन द नेम ऑफ मॉडर्न साइंसेस. इट बिकम वेरी वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर अस, but we need to have this IKS in every knowledge system, in chemistry, in physics, in management, in everything. और अगर आप उसको बेस में लाएंगे तो you will find solutions also. You will have physical, psychological, philosophical and spiritual. These 4 stages, this framework, or we can fit in our problems within these 4 steps of Bharatiya intellectual tradition or Bharatiya Gyan Parampara. With these words, once again, I extend a heartfelt thanks to Professor Rohit Saluja from IIT Mandi, Professor Shiv Prasad ji from Cochin University, Dr. Ajit Sharma ji, and Professor Rohit Gujral, Director, Lovely Professional University, for giving your valuable time and insightful deliverance on Bharat-centric research. Dr. Anjali, thank you so much, and all of you, thanks once again. Thank you.
On behalf of Vidya Bharati Uch Shiksha Sansthan and University of Rajasthan, I extend my sincere gratitude to our esteemed session chair, ma'am, for expertly steering the discussion with insight and clarity. I also convey heartfelt thanks to all the speakers for completing the talk on time. And there are 2 announcements. First, a black and white purse is found and at food hall during the lunch break. It's a black and white purse. It can be collected at registration counter with Professor Sarina Kalia. If the purse is from among us, please collect it from Professor Sarina Kalia at registration desk, and we can all disperse for a tea break. For VIPs, the tea break is at the dining hall, and for all other delegates, it's outside. And we will resume the session again after the tea break. Thank you. A photograph? Can I request the organizing team and the speakers and session chairs and of course all the delegates for a group photograph?